Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
Prepare for the SML Podcast. But yeah, I feel like this game, the RNG in this game is worse than in Front Mission 3. And that game has some terrible RNG back in the day too. But the second mission isn't like in that game I didn't lose the second mission 2 times. So
Ouch.
It's like, Jesus. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is going to be the thing that does it. Whiff on 80%. Like, what the fuck? This is stupid. This is really dumb. It shouldn't happen like this. And the game's like, you don't know Front Mission, do you? Like, I don't. I thought I was playing a fun game. And this is coming from a guy who knows difficult games. Like, I'm okay with playing difficult games.
I'm not good at difficult games. I'm too weak.
I can totally understand that. Like, if it's not your bag, it's not your bag. With this game,
I'm too old. I'm too frail. Just give me easy shit.
If it's within my skill set, I can handle difficult games because it's almost like, okay, my play style has prepared me for that game in particular, if that makes sense. I built up the skill set on other games, so now I'm ready for the meat and potatoes of this game. And it's like, yeah, but a no. Instead, I had to deal with the bullshit that is the RNG beast.
Yay.
I like difficult games.
So you like difficult games too. What are some of your favorites?
Hold on, let's do this as a topic on the show. That'll be more fun. What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I'm here. Andy's here, Chris is here, Pernell's here, and they're about to have a discussion that I just interrupted. So, Pernell, what's the discussion, buddy?
Yeah, geez, Joe.
I don't know. Now you put me on the spot. I don't think I want to have it anymore.
Andy, you take the spotlight.
Difficult games. What's the hot take? What do you guys think? What's the difficult game that you guys are playing currently? Go.
Well, damn! I was going to just lean in with a casual version of it. You was like, bam.
Let's get it.
You did the podcast version of it.
So the question I had for Andy was, he said he loves hard, difficult games, as I usually do. But the question became, okay, what are some of your favorite difficult games that you just found yourself saying, one more round, I can handle this?
Dude, I've been like, I think some of the difficult game passion that I have comes from roguelikes. And so not even that they're that hard, but they're definitely difficult at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously you get to the next level and you're like, I kicked the first level's ass, and then I get to the next one. And then, of course, it's a whole new list of enemies and traps and things that just destroy me. Yeah, I got into Souls-likes a lot more this year than I had in my previous lifetime. So those have been really fun also. And as everybody knows, like extremely difficult.
I do like me some Souls-likes.
I've been watching that new game. Have you seen Another Crab's Treasure?
I have not. I want to.
I've been really considering it. It's on my wish list. I'm just trying to keep myself from buying it. I'm so sad we
never heard back on that one. That's one of those games that you just wanted that.
That one looks so sweet, and there's so many of my friends that are like, dude, you have to pick this one up because it is ridiculous and it's fun. And I played the demo. And I thought it was awesome, and it's really
you got
difficult,
friends that are playing it.
I do have friends that are playing it, and they really enjoy it, and they say the same thing. It's like it's more like Sekiro, if you're familiar with that game, but you're a crab, and it is tough for how colorful and cute it is,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even the demo that's available, kind of takes you through one of the bosses and a couple of the open areas, and every enemy is just so dirty, and just takes it right out of you. Oh yeah,
but
it's fun.
Dirt. In that case, I need to give that game a serious go because it is something I seems like it would be up my alley. Like I like the artworks, I like the theme of it, I like the colorful nature of it. And I like the fact that, actually, I think it's mostly the colorful nature, because I'm kind of sick of the whole Dark Souls, everything has to be fucking grim and dark, miserable, and most importantly, cryptic. I'm tired of it. Like, I like the games. I like playing the games. I can't recall the last time I cared about the game's narrative, though. And it's mainly because
I've spent the past week playing a game that's just all like sunshine and rainbows and happiness, and it has been such a good thing for me. It has been such a good palate cleanser, and you need those every now and then.
Hear to that.
That's true. That's true.
I think the hardest game that I actively want to play it's kind of a cop-out, but Rock Band 4. Some of the hard songs in that game, some songs are almost near impossible. There was a guitar chart for Slipknot song, Pulse of the Maggots, that went un-FC'd, which is full combo, beginning to end, not miss, no overstrums, until 3 years ago. That's how long it took for someone to beat that game, that song.
Rhythm games also have a particular bonus element to them, I think, where even the most difficult rhythm games, for me, it's almost just about hearing the music and I do the best I can. If I beat it, it feels great. And if I don't, it's I'll get it next time. I'm basically just challenging myself more than anything else when I play it. And that's worth its weight in gold, to be honest with you.
It just depends on the song. Is it a challenging song that you really like to hear a lot? Guess you're going to have to get good.
Get good, bud. That's true. Those the Rock Band games have a solid sequencing, a button sequencing, aspect to them, and then also you just mentioned, it's hard. It's like a nice positive feeling to play the song that you're trying to play. But some of those crush you, man.
Mm-hmm. And how,
buddy? Too bad Rock Band is dead, because they had to do Fortnite Festival, which I've seen more footage of. I finally watched someone sit and stream actual gameplay of it, as opposed to YouTube videos, and just watching them stream it has turned me off of that game so fucking hard. I have no interest in Fortnite Festival. I didn't have any interest in it. Now I have less interest. I have negative interest. I have Helldiver 2 negative review levels of interest in that game.
Oh yeah, that one had a turn.
What's the bad to it? What don't you like about it?
The visuals primarily. I've never even the visuals, the engine, how it performs, how it plays, the UI, scrolling through songs. Its existence and how it led to the death of Rock Band 4, which Epic didn't need to kill. They just had to put everything in Fortnite.
Epic found a way.
Yeah.
Can you still play Rock Band on like PC and stuff?
You could play Rock Band 4 on PlayStation and Xbox, or you could on older consoles like the Wii, 360, PS3, PS4. On PC, your options are less legit and probably shouldn't be discussed on public, but just Google Clone Hero.
Yeah. That's one that I've been thinking about, jumping into again, because those games were fun. If I can find,
there's ways to do customs in Rock Band 4, even on the PlayStation side. I have a friend who has 11,000 songs on his PS4.
Ooh.
Yeah, and people think I have a lot of songs.
How many you got?
That sounds like a real Guitar Hero.
Oof.
Yep.
I would still argue that's a lot.
Yeah, you got 300 albums.
Is a lot. I have absolutely a lot of music. I have all but 3 of the songs in Rock Band 4.
Jeez. That's insane. How long would it take you?
Missed 3 of them.
How long would it take you to play through all?
Oh, Joe, they missed you too.
3,000. What was it? 3,134.
3,134. I don't know, because there's some short songs. There's a handful of long songs. What's the median song length?
I think 4 minutes, maybe.
Just 4 minutes times 3,000 is 12,000 hours.
Oof. So if we were to get you to start a stream, just play until the
I've
end.
Considered trying to get some friends together to do a marathon, see how long we could go Rock Band stream.
That would be awesome.
I don't really have the house layout to support a group of people in my office.
God, that'd be so cool, though.
It would.
You could do it.
Pernell, would you come up?
Depending on the timing, of course. But yeah, I'd do something like that possibly.
We get you, Jacob.
I'd come up for that too. Easy.
What filthy perversions are you all talking about?
Oh no, she's here.
Yes,
cower
in fear.
Welcome. More like welcome to Flavor Country. You're back. Hey, how you doing?
Aki's here. Yay!
Yeah,
oh, wait,
sorry about
wait,
that.
She needs her sound effect. Aki's here.
Shia!
I don't know which was the sound bite and which was the Aki there. I don't know.
It's true, they blended in very nicely together.
Fuzzy
Wait,
Pickles.
really?
I don't know which one was the sound bite and the actual person right there.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I can deal with
Aki,
that. That
how
works.
are you?
I'm conflicted. I am going to be partially stepping away for a little while. So everyone listening, you won't be having to listen to me as much. I'll still be on the show, just I won't be doing as many reviews for a little while. I'm actually going to be taking basically a summer job, more or less. My mom works at a law office, and they just brought in someone into the group, and their filing is abhorrent. And I mean by that, I mean absolute fucking dog shit. So they need somebody to come in and basically reorganize and rename all the digital files. And I'm assuming there's probably thousands upon thousands of them. And so that's going to be my job for the next 3 to 5 months.
Yay!
It's a law firm, so my hope is that means it's going to pay big chingy beep money.
I'm not getting paid a lot. I'm being paid minimum wage.
Yeah, I did the temp thing for years. None of that stuff ever pays.
I was hoping the fact that it was a law firm would supersede the other part.
Oh, God, no.
That's how they get so rich, because they pay everyone else pennies.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
my mom's been working at this
clerk.
law office for a long time. She's worked there for like 20 or so years. She gets a decent pay. She gets like, I don't know, 47,000 a year, something like that. She gets paid decently. She gets like $23 an hour or something like that. But I'm a temp job doing pretty basic ass work, so they're not going to pay me above minimum wage. I'm going to try and talk it a bit higher, but I doubt it.
I think through this show, I make $50 every 4 months and all the canned ravioli I want.
Yeah.
Wait. Whoa. Where's this all the canned ravioli you want? What hookup you got going on there?
I just have a wife who has a job, and she'll buy canned ravioli.
Nice.
Delicious. So.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the job. I just want to brag that if I wanted, I could get some canned ravioli. Can you say that? You probably could. I know you probably have canned ravioli.
I couldn't say that right now. I'm worried about if I'm going to have my job at a certain point. But I don't know yet, so I'm doing the dragon hoarding his gold thing just in case. But we'll see.
I could, but I don't like canned ravioli that much.
I like canned ravioli.
I'm not sure if I might have a bag of ravioli somewhere.
It's got to be Chef Boyardee.
Do you guys remember those like Sonic SpaghettiOs?
Yes,
of course.
Those were awesome.
I thought you meant Sonic the fast food restaurant.
Oh, that would be extreme, dude. That'd be wild.
Also, I kind of chuckle at the idea of Sonic the Hedgehog SpaghettiOs because they're just rings, which is what all SpaghettiOs are. So it's like, I know what the shapes. I know what the shapes. I'm just saying the general idea of SpaghettiOs.
Most of them are rings, yeah. That's true.
Like,
they got off easy on that one.
I used to like the little dinosaur ones.
Oh, those were cool.
I loved those as a kid. I don't like the taste of the sauce in them anymore. I don't know why, but something just is off about the sauce.
It's made by Campbell's now. They bought Franco Americo, and like it has gone so downhill. There's some batches that you'll get where it's like straight up soup. Like you need to have some mass and consistency to be SpaghettiOs. Like you should be able to take a can of them, pour them out, throw it at the wall, and it'll stick there. That's what I want out of a can of SpaghettiOs.
Gotta have some thickness. Straight. I got you.
Need some stiffness to it, some oomph.
Joe needs some stiff SpaghettiOs. Everybody
do.
He just wants
I don't want that
stiff
watery
noodles.
shit.
A stiff can of SpaghettiOs.
I need my canned pasta to have balls.
Spaghetti. Oh, no.
A stiff can of pasta.
Spaghetti.
That's a good show title.
Yeah,
There you go.
solid.
Oh man, well, we have a handful of games we got to review tonight. Should we dive into these, get it over with?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get started. First game to talk about tonight is Hammerwatch 2, developed by Crackshell, published by Maximum Entertainment, released April 23rd on Series X and S and PS4 for $24.99, previously available on PS5 and other platforms. Gather your heroes and journey beyond the dungeons of Castle Hammerwatch to explore a pixelated world like never before. Aid King Roland's resistance while helping villagers along the way. Battle beasts, finish off hordes of the undead, and face the forces of evil. Andy, tell us about your time with Hammerwatch 2.
So the original Hammerwatch game, released in 2013, for those of you who don't know, took heroes on a gauntlet-inspired quest through Castle Hammerwatch, as the name suggests. Progressing from bottom to top, the hero or player must kill hundreds of enemies through a hack-and-slash action in order to ultimately reach the top and end the reign of the Blight Dragon Worldfire. Pretty standard stuff. Hammerwatch 2 begins immediately after the defeat of Worldfire, that same dragon I just mentioned. So it drops players in. Players must choose to create a character from the choice of a paladin, a rogue, a wizard, warlock, or ranger. Each character gets to, or each player gets to choose the appearance of their character they select. Each one also has unique abilities and a cool skill tree within the game. Unique. Customizable options include the clothing or skin colors, along with different hairstyles and facial features. And I was actually pretty impressed by what was available in in such a pixelated world. You know,
I appreciate how many options there were, but it confused me why there were so many when the face is literally 4 pixels.
It's true. Yeah, you like don't ever really see it. It's like up in the top corner of the game, but it was nice.
Really thorough though. Like there's a lot of customization.
It was, you know, the colors were cool. Like, I mean, it went into like different noses even. And I was just like, you know, that's cool, I guess. But like you said, I didn't play too much with it. I kind of went through all the options and I was like, all right, this is neat. For me, I chose the Ranger. Seemed cool. You know, each character actually looked like really awesome. Their skill tree was very detailed too, with lots of extra attacks that you kind of gain along the way. But I chose the Ranger. I made him kind of an old man with a beard and a cool headband, kind of like a heavy metal Gandalf. But I guess I probably should have picked the Wizard for that one. But I liked it. He looked cool. Anyway, excuse me. The Ranger had 4 moves. I think every character kind of has 4 moves starting out. The dodge roll, sword slash, vine entanglement, which slows the enemies, and a bow attack for long range. Each move is able to be leveled up, and new moves can be learned later on that are special to each hero class. I think the summoning of a wolf. There was also you can summon like a specter wolf as well, like later on along the line. To fight alongside the hero was easily my favorite. That one was super cool. You're dropped into a world through informational cutscene. It kind of takes you through the discussion of the last game and what happened in previous events, and kind of where this story was leaning towards, kind of same old like fantasy spiel. Jealous necromancer brother, king trying to reclaim his throne, join the resistance, fight the blight dragons. Pretty classic stuff overall. The story guides the game, but isn't super important in my opinion. It was kind of there, but it was mostly told through like little quests or little plot missions and things like that. The main thing in the game is kind of go around and like fight stuff. Outside the Castle Hammerwatch, there's a starter island as well where the player can get their feet wet. You know, there's a town, a couple of merchants, and a few people in need of saving. Grab missions. if you kill all the insert creature here, quests, pretty standard stuff. Which honestly, I spent a lot of money. I probably spent way longer on that first island than I should have.
Dude, I'm the same. I'm a completionist.
I mean, it's much larger than you even realize. There's a lot of grab missions that come up. There's a lot of go grab this or fight these guys or kill the wolves and bring back their fur. Which was cool because once you start getting into stuff, each little cave and section of the map really opens up. It's almost a whole nother world inside each cave. And the caves link to other caves and different rows and stuff like that. So they went over the top on some of that stuff, which I thought was awesome. Plenty of enemies in each cave, plenty of treasures and stuff to find too. So that was cool. It is a lot. So luckily, a kind of a translucent map can be pulled up to kind of help guide you where you've been, and even marks key points for you, which was very helpful. But if you think that once you get off the island and complete all the quests and then move on to the next one, in the words of Judas Priest, you've got another thing coming, or think coming is actually the saying. So you got another thing coming. But so it's pretty much once you leave the island, it's more of the same journey. I mean, more kill enemies, more grab loot, more upgrade your armor, which actually was also really awesome too. I liked finding new armor, and even though everything was pixelated, it all looked really cool. And then you pretty much just do that, it opens up, which is nice. It expands upon what the starting island is, but it is a lot of the same stuff. If you're into that, it's a really fun game. Each of the environment and all the people and animals and things like that I saw were very well crafted, especially in that pixelated art style. You could tell a giant dragon was a dragon and a tiny wolf was a tiny wolf. So there was no cutoff between that. I think the developers did a fantastic job designing all of that. So that was neat. Music was really top notch. I enjoy that. And it tied everything together, tied the room together or the dungeon together. As a single player experience, it was really fun. And I wish I could have played it online.
It does support online up to 4 players. I didn't get a chance to check it out either. I was hoping we would have had time to link up and play, but time.
Well, if you want to, I am totally down because I actually really enjoyed this game, and I really thought that as a single player experience, it was fun, but as a multiplayer experience, it would have been so much better. 2 to 4 people running around on a map and fighting a bunch of random spiders and dragons and whatever wolves would have been so cool. So if you get a chance, man, and want to link up, we should definitely play this sometime. Yeah, it does definitely seem like a game that would be a blast with a couple of buddies. And I actually mentioned it to my business partner, and I was like, yeah, I'm covering this game, Hammerwatch 2. And he's like, oh man, there's a second one? and I was like, yeah. I was like, have you heard of it before? He's like, no. He's like, but me and he mentioned a couple of other of our friends, he's like, we destroyed Hammerwatch 1. We went through that, we grinded on that for a long time, and that was really awesome. So it was cool to kind of hear that from him too. He was like, yeah, it's a really fun game. The first one was awesome, so they moved on to the second one. But I couldn't get the multiplayer to work, or like you said, link up with anybody. But I want to try that out. I did read a couple of reviews on a few other platforms that said the multiplayer is a little finicky at times, but I can't say for certain my view on that. Sorry, I'm looking back over my notes. The game doesn't do any hand holding too, which kind of was very nice. It seemed a little weird so I played it on controller, which I found was a little awkward, just navigating some of the maps or menus, excuse me. I think aside from that, if you played it on a mouse and keyboard, it would be better designed to play it like that. But it wasn't bad, It was just a little bit of test this button or that button to kind of figure out what does what. The game doesn't have any hand holding, which was also nice. So drops you in, sends you off, tells you to fight things, and sometimes you die, and that's totally cool. But yeah, I would say honestly, if you're looking for, yeah, I mean, it's I like a lot of games that don't, they take the retro style and they just really like push that, and they improve upon a couple of things and give you something that is both fun and difficult at times, and gives you plenty of room for like your own build. Like even I did the Ranger, and anybody else that did the Ranger could have had a different build than I did too, so there's customizable options that are there as well. So I would say if you're looking for that like kind of old school, almost like Gauntlet style gameplay, with just a little bit extra, a little more
Gauntlet with a story.
Say what?
Gauntlet with a story.
Yeah, Gauntlet with a story. Some upgrade options, some different weapons you can choose from, different characters, that are pretty wild, and in different customizable faces, which was a bonus. I don't know what it was there, but it was great. So yeah, it was fun.
Cool. Well, it clocks in at $24.99. The first game is actually available. They released a Hammerwatch Anniversary Edition for $19.99. You could get a bundle of the two games with a Hammerwatch 2 DLC pack for $49.99. What are your thoughts on everything? On this game for $25, the bundle for $50, what do you think?
So I would say, this game has so much to it. The art is for what it is. It's beautiful. The soundtrack is beautiful. The gameplay is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of an open world Gauntlet game, I would say go for it for $24.99. Yeah, that's awesome. I never played the first one. I looked up a couple reviews and talked to my buddy about what the first one was like. It seems like it's a lot of the same, but you are stuck inside the castle. They enjoyed it. The game came out in 2013. It might be awesome still. I don't know. That's over, that's 11 years now. So, but I'd say go for it. If you're looking for that style of game, if you like those style of games in general, this one's a pickup.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Well, that is it for you, Andy. We won't. Oh my God, my cat is pushing my microphone away from my face. Simon. He's just rubbing his face all over the mic stand right now.
He hears me.
He's so annoying right now. Like he's demanding his attention during a show. And normally he gets to walk all over me. Literally, I'll lay back in my chair and he'll just stand on me and walk around. And I'm not letting him do it right now because I have a show to do.
Put him on mic.
No,
we'll switch you out. New guest host.
Say something. Meow. He has nothing to say.
Camera shy.
Oh man. Well, Andy, we will let you get going. Do you have any final words before you head off into the sunset?
I hope you guys stick around, listen to the rest of the games. I appreciate you guys letting me on. I need to go. I had an 8-hour drive today to get home from a hectic weekend. So I appreciate you guys dealing with me and everything that I bring to the table. But you guys are awesome. Kick some ass, take some names, rock those names' asses.
That's a lot of rocking.
That is a lot of asses, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A lot of ass stuff too, like ass rocking and.
Well,
generally a lot of instruction.
I like asses. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Take it with a grain of salt. Party till you drop, thrash till you die. How's that? There we go. That's better. But no, thank you guys. It was fun talking to you guys.
We'll see you next time, Andy.
Peace. Good night.
Good night.
All right, next game to talk about is Let's Revolution, developed and published by Buck, released April 11th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $19.99. Rise up in Let's Revolution, a roguelite puzzle mashup that builds on the classic rules of Minesweeper with procedurally generated mazes and turn-based tactics. Embark on a deadly game of hide-and-seek, chasing the Rotten King across the enchanting lands of B-Bomb. Pernell, what is going on in Let's Revolution?
Well, you kind of dropped the biggest, most important, or most shocking element to the thing, which is that this game is built off of the image of Minesweeper, a game that came with most of our PCs when we were children, or teenagers if you're old like me. At As a result, you might hear that and initially think that this is kind of a bland game or a game that you've already seen and messed with before. But I think that this developer took this classic franchise and made something particularly special with it. The idea behind the game is that you are, I guess, soldiers or individuals that are hoping to take down a wicked king within your realm or across a series of realms, because the king is a chicken and he loves to hide out in the areas of which you are, scouting for. He allows his minions or soldiers to defend him and potentially take you out before you can hopefully find him. So, finding him, what do you mean? Well, this game takes place over a series of maps where after you choose a character, you are set to explore a board. The board has two general types of tiles on them. They have just outskirt tiles, in which case they're safe and nothing typically happens on them. And then you have road tiles. The road tiles are where all the real meat and potatoes of the game takes place, because if you come across a road tile, that's where you can find, event elements like shops and skill upgrade stations, usually at the ends of the roads. And you can also find enemies on the roads that will attack you on sight if they spot you. So the way it starts out is that every tile is hidden. You can't see anything on the board. On your turn, you are allowed to move one space. If you see a number in the upper left corner of your tile that you are standing on, keep in mind this is also a grid-based system because, again, Minesweeper. If you see a number in the upper left corner, that tells you how many tiles within an 8-tile radius happens to be a road tile. You have no idea which tiles are road tiles, just that number of them are road tiles. So you have to kind of use deductive reasoning to choose which tiles to step onto. Now, if you happen to step on an unrevealed road tile and an enemy is there, you take damage, just flat out. That's how it works. So it is in your best interest to plan and have these tiles be revealed without you stepping on them necessarily to reveal the enemies and have them attack you. Once an enemy is displayed, whether by stepping on the tile or by using an ability that can reveal the space, the enemy will show on the board along with their hit points and the number of turns it will take for them to actually initiate an attack. And when that turn count expires, their attack can hit anywhere on the board that you were on. So if they attack, you will take damage. So you are immediately incentivized to kill enemies as soon as you can once they have been revealed onto the map. Your attack options, what are they? Well, you don't have an attack generally that's a base attack. All of your attacks cost an energy resource. So let's say, for example, your starting character has an ability called Roundhouse. That's his default attack ability. It requires 8 energy, and when you use it, he attacks every character or every tile around, all 8 tiles that are surrounding him at the time. So let's say you come across a tile. The tile has the number 7 on it. That tells you there are 7 road tiles surrounding your tile. It might be smart to use the roundhouse kick action if you have the energy for it, because it will reveal every tile surrounding you, and for every enemy that is on them, they will take damage from the roundhouse kick attack. So pretty smart. There are also other attacks you can buy from merchants on the board once you come across them, if you have the money to do so, and they attack in various ways, such as attacking multiple tiles away from you, or attacking directly next to you, or attacking multiple tiles directly adjacent to you, and so on and so forth. There are also single-use attacks, special items that can restore your health, or reveal tiles for free, let you jump tiles, etc., etc. In the event you happen to come across the actual king, the king will freak out and he will run away, allowing you to either proceed and follow him to the next stage, or continue to explore the map in case there's some unfinished business you wish to attend to. Some characters you want to explore as many tiles as possible. Other characters you want to explore as few tiles as possible. There's multiple characters you can unlock in the game, and they all play fairly differently in a sense where the first character feels like, oh, this makes sense, I just want to explore everything. Do it wisely. Then later on, you start unlocking characters who's like, whoa, I'm not sure how I feel about a game that's telling me I'm not supposed to explore. I want to explore, damn it. But it changes the formula up a little bit for you. You also can unlock new game pluses for characters once you've beaten them, runs with them, in which case enemies do different things behavior-wise, such as move around on the tiles, whereas normally they don't. become stronger, new areas that you might be able to come across, that kind of thing. And you also get to see an encyclopedia that shows all the different abilities and the upgrades for those abilities you can unlock once you've come across them, which is pretty cool. The game started out as something that wasn't going to seem all that. I mean, I was curious about it, but I wasn't expecting to be blown away by it. But in actuality, I came away feeling like I could be fairly addicted to it. When you start a run, you want to see it through because that sense of one more tile flip, oh, I can puzzle my way through this level, and the fact that the game is very no frills on the mind space. What I mean by that is the game is challenging if it wants to be as you get to certain points in the game, but the rules of engagement aren't overly complex. You have abilities, you reveal tiles. That's it. That's the game. And in my current life especially, there's something to be said about a game where I don't have to remember a series of complex rules to get my game on. I can just step in, learn the rules immediately, and just have fucking fun. This was supposed to be a family-friendly review. I'm sorry. Ultimately, though, I would say, I would say, quite frankly, this is my favorite game released this week that I've played, and that includes games that I did not get for review. I like it a lot. I think Less Revolution is a lot of fun. It has a nice, charming bit to it. And kind of like we talked about earlier in the show, it's Blue Sky, too, which, by the way, if you don't know what Blue Sky games are, they are games that are not grimdark. They are just positive and uplifting, even in the fact that you're supposed to be defeating an adversary. They're still just positive games. I like it. I like Less Revolution.
Nice. Well, it's $20. What is your verdict?
Easy buy it recommendation. I think you'll have enjoyment, a sense of enjoyment, and if you were a person that grew up on Minesweeper, a little bit of nostalgia too.
Very cool. Sounds good. It's telling that this is your favorite game of the week because you're on like every game this week.
Oh yeah, I do my thing.
Yeah. Next game, Class of Heroes 2G Remaster Edition, developed by Acquire, published by PQube, released April 26th on Switch, PS5 and PC for $19.99. A 2-pack with the first game is available for $34.99. Are you ready to take on the dark winding dungeons crawling with magic and monsters? A call for brave adventurers awaits at the doors of Cristani Academy. Or Christini Academy, whatever. Prepare yourself for a remastered classic dungeon crawler full of exploration, combat, and endless opportunities. Take advantage of the classes and quests available to build the ultimate hardy cohort of students. Chris, Pernell, tell us about this one. How about you start, Chris?
Okay, I might as well. Get the load off Pernell a little bit. So yeah, this is, as promised last week, the second Class of Heroes game. I just realized how Joe spelled it in the group chat. It's Class of Heroes.
How nice.
Yeah,
Heroes.
It's all good.
On a capital L in class.
Yeah, this is
I'm on my game tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, really. We're on this game anyway. But yeah, this is a kind of a sequel to the first game. I mean, I don't know how the stories even link up, but it's basically the same kind of deal. It's you create a cast of lovable anime portraits and give them jobs and play a wizardry style dungeon crawler. The whole thing is kind of framed in this heroes school, and this one, of course, brings together a whole bunch of kind of NPC characters who kind of, the story is kind of told through them rather than your group, which is pretty typical of like these kind of games when there is a story involved. And yeah, like basically, you roll your characters, you choose a portrait, you can choose from different races. Many of them are going to be very familiar to wizardry fans. And, some classes are, they have a little bit of a higher stat threshold to roll than others. So you may end up with like a fairy type character for like a healer, or, what are the Bahamas guys or whatever, make great monks. But that is actually one thing, is that they are limited. Some races cannot be certain classes, which is weird, but I mean, it happens. So yeah, the difference between this one and the first one, of course, because that's, I'm sure, what everybody's going to want to know, is that the biggest one that you'll see is that instead of having the procedurally generated dungeons of the first game, this one actually has set dungeons with set maps, and you can even purchase those maps and use them for free. In Wizardry 5, you have to grind for several hours to buy an item that lets you look at a map for free. That's how Wizardry is. It's usually map looking is a spell, and you have to consume vital resources to be able to see where you're even going. That's just, name of the game. But in this one, they've eased it up a little bit. In fact, I would say this game is generally eased up a little bit on the whole Wizardry thing. Instead of having tiers of spells where you have 3 level 1 spellcast, 2 level 2 spellcast, 1 level 3, and like the spells to match, this one gives you an MP pool. So it's much more JRPG-like in that sense. Also much more like my favorite dungeon crawler, that is Etrian Odyssey. In fact, you'll get a few Etrian Odyssey vibes from this one versus the first game. For one, the Forest of Beginnings, which is your opening dungeon. Of course, there's several dungeons and even several towns and even other academies. But yeah, your opening dungeon is this bright, beautiful, like daytime stroll through a kind of not a field because obviously there's barricades getting in your way, but like everything's kind of knee high, so you can actually just see right across the whole thing. It's not starting off in like a deep dark entrance to a labyrinthian like kind of dungeon deal, but the game is labyrinthian. You'll find that this game, it's not as annoying as the first game because there's not like those tiles that fling you all the way across the map that aren't even marked in any sort of way. And of course, the first game being random, you don't get to like mark them down and avoid them.
What we just found?
What was that?
We just found a whole bunch of new viewers because Horror Acolyte rated us with a party of 12. Welcome in, everyone. This is the SML podcast. We are chatting about video games. Right now, we are talking about Class of Heroes 2G Remaster Edition. Them on the Switch, PS5, and PC. Chris, what were you saying about this one, about throwing things?
Yeah. No, I was... Instead of the floor tiles that throw you across the dungeon, like this one does have different like hazards and ways to overcome them. Like for instance, you have warp tiles. You'll be dealing a lot with warp tiles. That is to say, you step on it, you end up on a different part of the map. It's always consistent, so it's kind of like figuring out what you're gonna pop out as, or where you're gonna pop out. And but like I said, going from one end of a dungeon to another gets you into another checkpoint, and you can. Basically, the whole kind of gist of the game, the way to move the story forward is to accept jobs from the library at your school. And these often end up having you go into the dungeon to pick up an item, to fight an enemy. You may even be asked to just walk to the town and buy something from the store. That's actually 2 quests that I've done so far.
Oh, those are hard.
Yeah, exactly. It was literally go to the store. But actually,
fetch quest.
Yeah. And because if you want to like warp or anything, it's very expensive, so you're gonna end up hoofing it quite a lot unless one of my spellcasters here learns a good spell. Speaking of expense, this game does bring back the alchemy system, wherein you use broken items that you find in the dungeon and materials to create weapons. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Pernell can confirm this, but I think you have to, at least for some cases, like you have to have you have to purchase a book to learn how to craft the item. I don't know if just having the items allows you to do it, but I haven't really experimented with it much. I did, however, get myself weapons, like long distance weapons for my entire back row, so all 6 of my characters can fight, and that made things way easier, which is kind of great. It's lots of stuff to build and do and see, and I'll get back to it. Let's have Pernell talk about it a little.
Pernell, give us your thoughts.
Chris, my thoughts are going to be fairly brief in the sense that Chris spoke a lot about the game, and I honestly have been enjoying it a bit myself. I own the original release back in the day,
The PSP
and barely
one?
touched it. Yeah, I bought it for PSP and PS3.
Oh, nice.
And this was interesting in that it was another case of, well, I guess I can finally really give it a deep dive now that I'm playing it on like the Switch or something. Because the PSP, it's long in the tooth, though I'd like my PSP. But I think the thing that I came away from in this game, despite the fact that I do enjoy it more than the first game, is the fact that I really wished in the process of this remastering that they did, they took the time to review that synthesis system, the alchemy system, and organize it a bit better. Because
Yeah.
I generally like alchemy in my games. I like synthesizing new equipment, but it is so unorganized. It's almost like it flat out does not respect the player's time. Whenever I feel like I need to actually sit down and do work in there, it feels like it takes work. In fact, I'll say, for anybody who decides to play this game, there is somebody who did a pretty decent post on Game FAQ for the original release of this game that does a good job of explaining some of the basics of how the alchemy system works in this game. Things that the manual does not tell you. He just figured out on his own, like how to determine how much of a particular resource you're going to always need to make an item, even if you don't have the book for it. Just taking a shot in the dark and saying, I upgrade it by doing this. The book is mainly there to say, here's the recipe. Now you know how to do it. But I'm of the belief from what I've experienced with the game that if you can nail down the combination of stuff, you can make it. And you're going to need to do a lot of alchemy in this game, like whether it's to get new gear or to upgrade the gear you've already got. And though I can't speak for this, Chris might know better, but I was trying at one point in the game to figure out if I could take some junk items, alchemize them into decent items, and then sell them for more money.
No.
And every time I tried, it was like, nope, you cannot exploit this system for money. You're just going to be broke until you beat monsters up for cash.
That really is it. Pernell brings up a very good point, kind of a mark against the game. That is how little things are explained in game, in all of the, despite the fact that there's a ton of things you can read in the game. Like, for instance, the game will not tell you that thing I said earlier about how certain races can only be certain jobs. The game won't tell you that. It also won't tell you, for instance, if you pull up a character, you're rolling a human, let's say, you get a nice big bonus roll. Actually, this game is a lot more generous with the bonus rolls than the first game. I mistakenly thought that the game did not give you bonus rolls that, would go up or down. I thought it was fixed because I got so many low ones in the first game that I just assumed, it's just like 8 for like this race and 10 for this race. But Pernell set me straight on that, and so sure enough, I tried it in this one, and like my bonus rolls, I think my highest was 47, and I didn't even roll for an hour. I rolled 6 characters with more than 30 bonus points each, and so that will unlock you something. Yeah, that'll unlock you like the samurai job class, which is pretty high, and the ninja class, which, although it requires being evil, which is fine with me. I always roll evil characters in wizardry because I love the ninja. I rolled myself a ninja, but it's like I picked the wrong race, and so I'm sitting here dumping all these 47 extra points into my stats, and I'm like, this is high enough. Like, this should be a ninja. And it wasn't highlighting. I was like, this race can't be a ninja. So I just picked a human, dumped all my points in, and then lo and behold, I was able to roll a ninja. So, the alchemy stuff is crazy menuing because you have your items, all of your items just go into this collection of 1 to 100 in your set, right? So you just have this list of 100 things. They're never organized in any way. Even if you choose to organize the items, it will sometimes put them, like if you've recently used one, it'll put it like at the bottom of the list or at the top of the list for no real reason. There's no like alphabetized option or like Dragon Quest has had for like 20 years. There's no option to like choose how you want to organize. So you get into the alchemy system, you have 2 options. One is to alchemy, like book or whatever, learn alchemy or something. Like, you're basically referring to your book, and you scroll through this long list of items that are not organized by like, anything really, just weapons, armor, items generally. but not like swords, axes, whatever. And you scroll through this thing, and then you look at the item, and you see, okay, this requires a broken sword and 5 pieces of iron junk. And then you're like, okay. So you think, okay, well, I'll push like the button here, and then since I have that stuff, and it'll make the sword for me. It's like, nope. Back out of that. Go back to alchemy. Go down the list. Find your broken sword, and then find your 5 pieces of iron junk, and then put them in the pot, and then hit the synthesize button, and you'll get your sword. So it's like it is very inefficient, and even the first game had categories that you could at least go through, even though the first game wasn't too much better at this. So yeah, Pernell's got a great point about that. I don't think it takes away from the game because honestly, I've spent way more time adventuring than I have alchemizing. But at the same time, I rolled some really hot characters, and leveling them up, they get like such rad bonuses that I kind of just, as long as they have something that'll reach the enemy, which again was a big concern because there's no distance weapons that any character starts with. So no matter what, your starting party is always going to have 3 people in the back row that can't fight until you build slings or arrows or guns or whatever. Yes, there are guns in this game.
But one thing I wanted to mention.
Go ahead.
Just one. I know you were mentioning the different character classes you can roll and stuff. One thing worth noting in this game that I don't know if the first game had it or not, but I only learned that this game had it because I had to do some digging just to figure out what the hell certain elements meant. But this game has actually some advanced classes to it that, in some respects, only certain races can have, or rather, certain races can do. And also, there are multiple schools you can come across in the game, and some of the classes can only be learned by reaching those schools with that class and then having the stats. It's so while I did the same thing you did, where I rolled some pretty good characters. Like I got my loadout, I'm ready to go. But I tried to choose them thinking, okay, maybe I want this person to be a fallen angel at some point. So I want to have this character ready to roll for it eventually if I can find an item that lets me change their affinity or whatever. And just like stuff like that. So that might factor into what you decide to do as you choose to make your characters out.
Changing your affinity in this game, which is actually kind of rare for these wizardry type games. Usually you have to make a lot of bad choices and then you become an evil character or vice versa. But in this one, you get hypnotized by the principal. you go to the principal's office and have him hypnotize you to being good or evil. Anyway, Go ahead.
But it's kind of nice in that sense, too, because for all the things where they made, like, well, alchemy is going to make you pull your damn hair out for time, this is just like saying, hey, you want to be bad? Let's be bad. You want to be good? You can be good, baby. Like, it's just... In that regard, it's almost like saying if you want to experiment, there's nothing stopping you from doing so. If you made up a group of characters and then you suddenly learn that your party synergy sucks and now you can't do any of the classroom skills or the group skills.
Oh yeah, the group skills are great though.
Yeah, I just wish they drain so much of your bar.
You get so there's a bar of energy at the top of the screen, and it slowly goes up as you win battles and do things. And especially it'll go up if you complete quests. And you can utilize some of that bar to do a group attack. And a group attack is something they have in actually the Etrian Odyssey series. And they're devastating, and they like really clear out like a group of 20 enemies or whatever that are coming after you. Or they can like heal you and, really save your skin if you're in a situation. So that's something else that they have in this game that I quite like, but I think it requires your characters to have this kind of synergy together, or I think using them actually raises their synergy too. But it's like you can't be mixing good and evil characters. You got to have like I have a neutral party except for my ninja, and my ninja's evil, and that works just fine. So it's like there's different things like that to consider. I may have spent too much time saying negative things about this game because honestly, my review is hugely positive. This is a very fun entry-level kind of wizardry game that, while it does get intense, it doesn't get as intense as quickly as any other wizardry game that I've played. So, and that includes Etrian Odyssey. Etrian Odyssey will pull the rug under you at some point.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't play it on picnic mode. I started playing Etrian Odyssey 3 on picnic mode because I've already beaten it, so I know what it's like. So it's not spoiling anything for me. And holy crap, they nerfed the hell out of those games for the HD remasters. I mean, you don't have to be afraid of any Etrian Odyssey because those picnic modes are stupid easy, like so easy. You could just breeze through. Anyway, go ahead.
I'll have to give that a try. But you're talking about good and bad. One thing that is good is that Burger Thing just subbed to us on Twitch.
Oh, that's excellent.
Thank you, Burger Thing. That is a very good thing. Another good thing I want to know is this game good? It clocks in at $19.99. There's the 2-pack of both games for $34.99. What are your thoughts on everything?
Yeah!
Well, like I said, the first game I was very positive on. I think the first game had some quirks. I think the second game is much better overall. Apart from a few other, again, I would call them quirks. I would call them minor complaints or just like things that I just plain got used to. Like nothing's kept me from enjoying this game ever. Obviously, I'm giving this a buy it. I did, in fact, purchase the 1 and 2 collection on a physical cartridge, which is still available for $39.99.
Pernell, your thoughts?
Oh, for me, well, I mean, it kind of goes what I was saying. I already purchased it before, so I was glad to get to try this one for free for once in that sense. But if I had never purchased it before, I do think it's worth buying it. It's fun. Like I said, the alchemy is the only gripe I have. But with that said, this is a remaster of a previously built game, and if you are perfectly okay with just grabbing a list, I'm pretty confident that Game FAQs pretty much has somebody that's done, here's all the recipes if you go on them, yada, 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 so you can kind of skirt the scrolling and backtracking the list of items. Also,
I found
quick tip for you, if you go into the game early on and you happen to find a level 4 or so alchemy item, rather than sell it, just deconstruct it and get a bunch of the lower tier, 1 tier lower items, and then deconstruct those and get a ridiculous amount of those too. It'll be a good way for you to kind of start off on your alchemy journey.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, you can deconstruct items too to get materials back. I wanted to point out one more thing because I actually forgot to last week, and it's in both games. So one thing I really love about both of these games, which, by the way, since we're talking about the title screen, the second game has an anime like dance music intro, whereas the first one doesn't. So that already recommends it. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because these are non-characters. It's just like they're just portraits you choose, but they're all like in this like, you know, J-pop like music video at the beginning, and it's great. Anyways, both games on the title screen feature a like grandfather clock face, like kind of just hanging out in the background, like you would see at a school, like the big school, like clock tower or whatever. And it actually is telling the correct time. It's based on your Switch's clock. So when you open the game, there's a clock showing the correct time. And I don't know, I just really dig that. Like you almost never see that in a video game. So I kudos for you know, having that in here. I don't know if that was in the original. It might have been, but I really enjoy it.
Just like Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next game to talk about is Front Mission 2 Remake, developed by Storm Trident, published by Forever Entertainment, released April 30th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, and PS5 for $34.99. Classical tactical RPG returns. The second game in the main Front Mission storyline is finally available outside of Japan for the first time. Front Mission 2 Remake blends intense strategy with a deep and involved storyline. Aki and Pernell, both of you check this out. Aki, how about you start this one? What is Front Mission 2 Remake?
Okay, this is a mech game, everybody. In case you're wondering why I played it. So in this, you get to name every character, including their call signs, because you're all some format of military. You start off as, I don't know if you're an actual military or if you're like mercenaries or a security force for a company, because I don't know what this is, but you work for OCU, I think is what it's called, which is a place that repairs and builds these giant mechs. And you are at a factory in another country, and their military realize on this company in order to repair all their shit. Well, you're just, doing your usual stuff, protecting the compound that is basically a ghost town now because the company has pulled out of the country for the most part, just because, it's like every other company in less fortunate countries. They come and steal all the resources and then get bored and leave. So, one day you guys get attacked out of nowhere when some of the military comes in and is like, hey, we need some stuff fixed. You're like, okay, yeah, bring them in, put them to this hangar, we'll fix them up. And instead they pull out into the middle of the compound and they get up and start shooting the shit out of everything. So, yay! Turns out there's a coup going on in the country, and they decided they don't like the OCU, and they are going to take over all of their bases. Why? I don't know. That just doesn't sound like a smart idea. Hey, let's go take over all the bases of these people who make all of our machines and therefore have a ton of machines themselves, have all the ability to repair these machines that we don't. Like, this should have been an attempted coup and it should have been destroyed immediately, but somehow they managed to succeed. So you and some of the people from your base managed to escape because of a heroic sacrifice of someone else. And it is about you trying to get the fuck out of this country and eventually, because it's a military game, to deal with a certain coup-creating asshole. So, yeah, it's all turn-based. You play as various people and mechs. It does grow to have more over time. You start off with 4 people, and then eventually, currently, I think I'm at like 8 or 9, something like that. So you get a lot of units. Each one of them gets the ability, has a certain amount of actions they can do per turn. Attacking with a weapon costs some amount of action. I don't know. It seems that some of them have different requirements, but it doesn't tell me what those are, annoyingly. And moving each square costs a certain amount of points as well. So you move around wherever you can and attack whoever you can and kill the shit out of them as fast as you can. Because in this game, it costs money to use your mechs. However much they move, it costs money for their movement because it costs money to fuel them. Also, any damage you take costs money. So all the damage you take during it costs money that you have to repair it. You don't get an option. If you're like, oh, I can't afford to repair this, too bad, the money's being taken out of your wallet any damn way. Tough titties. Yeah. So you can actually really screw yourself if you... I don't suggest playing this on the harder difficulty, because there are 3 difficulty options. I personally suggest the easiest, because even then, the first set of missions, because it's not just you play one mission and then suddenly here's your expense report. It may be a couple missions that you have to do in a row, because that just is what's necessary to get from the start to the end of what you're actually trying to do. And it took more than half the money I made away to repair my machines. And I thought, decent. Well, I didn't do decent. I'm going to pretend like I did decent in that fight. So yeah, it can get really hard if you're not being careful. You get to create your own mechs in this, as well as equip them with various types of weapons. Each different, you got legs that you can put on. Some of them are treads, some of them are standard bipedals. You get a left and a right arm that you get to put on, as well as a body, which includes obviously the head. And you can buy each one of these individually to create your own mech. Each one has different stats, from your mobility, which is how many squares you can move, to the energy consumption, to how much weight it is, how much defense, what type of defense it has, because there's piercing, fire, shock. I think that's all of them. And, there's 4 different armors, one for each of those, and one that gives just a minor defense to all of them. all the enemies have these same things. They also have the same types of weapons that you can choose from. So it becomes a game of paper, rock, scissors, more or less, in a bid to kill them before they kill the shit out of you. There is a level up feature in this game. I absolutely hate it, personally. It's the same one that's in the. It's the same one that's in the first game. It's if you have various types of weapons, long range, short range, special, melee, etc., etc. Using those in combat gives you XP towards that leveling.
Okay.
And as you level that, you get specific skills that you can equip to your character from that tree. You don't get to choose, you just get one I think it's at random. I'm not 100% sure if they're in a tiered order. You get this at level 1, at 5, whatever, or if it's just, here's just a random one, and you get an upgrade of it at this level, or what. I don't know. But the game doesn't tell you what any of those trees are, so you can very easily decide, oh, this character starts off with, like, a long-ranged weapon, so I'll just equip it. Leave that equipped on them. Fuck it. Who cares? And then you get a whole bunch of upgrades, but then you find out, oh, I don't really like this weapon all this much because it only fires once per round instead of the machine gun that fires like 5 times per round. And therefore, if shot misses from that, it's not going to fuck up that whole round, where if the only shot from my rifle misses, it's fucked for that round. So then you start leveling up the other thing, but you can only get so many levels in total in this game. And it's the same for the first game. You can only level up so much and then you stop leveling, period. And you can't level up all the different types of weapons. And that drives me out of my fucking mind. If you could level them all up, I would just do that and I'd be perfectly happy with that. But you can't. So if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to build your characters, you can end up with some really bad characters later on in the game that make it really hard to actually beat the game, especially if you're on one of the harder difficulties. On easy, it's probably possible no matter what. On normal, you probably want to pay a little attention to that. And on hard, you have to know what the fuck these trees are, or you're probably not going to beat the game. Just because of the system. I don't like that system. I didn't like it in the first game. I don't like it in this one. I would much prefer if they were like, oh, you leveled up, here's stuff, pick what you want from like this level 1 set of stuff. That would work so much better, because you actually have to know what you get from each tree so you can figure out what you want to aim for each tree, because like some of these abilities, it doesn't matter which, if you get it from this tree, it doesn't only work on just that weapon. So some of the trees, some of the abilities are really useful, even if you're using other weapons. So you might want to use those abilities to get, or use those weapons to get to that level in it to unlock that specific ability, and then stop using those weapons altogether because you hate them and they're just not very useful. And typically, most people suggest to more or less stick with just the machine guns and shotguns, which are short-range weapons, because they have really good skills that allow you to hit more often in battle than other ones. So you might be able to fire 2 whole sets of like 4 or 5 shots instead of just 1 with one of their abilities, and so on and so forth. So that's a really good one, and the game doesn't tell you any of this stuff. So you can really screw yourself. Otherwise, the game's really fun to play.
I was going to say, it seems like you're struggling with the game not explaining a lot of stuff. Pernell, what are your thoughts on things?
The RNG can kiss my ass. There's my thoughts. right there. There. Aki nailed so much of the good stuff.
And we circle back to the beginning of the show talking about that.
But at the end of the day, that RNG can kiss my ass. I put it on normal difficulty. In the second battle, I lost twice before somehow pulling it off. Now, with that said, it's like, you'll be like, okay, so Aki may have said this and I might have missed it a little bit, so forgive me if she did. But when you use your different attacks, let's say, for example, you have a short-range gun that can fire 8 bullets for 7 damage each, and you see a guy who's rolling up on you, and you know that destroying arms destroys the ability for it to use that arm, legs reduces mobility, and body straight up kills it. So you might be thinking, well, I'm going to run up on this guy. I'm going to take out that right arm. And now that cool gun that's going to give me problems, he can't use it no more. Too bad that gun's just going to spray away. You better pray, baby, because you don't know what's going to hit. You don't know what parts are going to get hit by the bullets. And hell, sometimes when you counter by using your shield to block, if they come at you, you don't even always get to use the shield. You're like, oh, I almost think, I'm not sure if it's about speed or if you have to choose the right arm for the direction that armed attack is coming from. But sometimes you're just like, nope. Take that whack. So this is, of all the strategy games I've ever played, including Front Mission 3, which had its own RNG, and I have played that. This game is so luck dependent, even if you plan well for what you want to do. And it can piss you off.
I'm gonna tell you something that might piss you off more or make you happier. I'm not really sure which it's going to be. In the first game, at least, and I assume probably in this game, I believe it's in, again, the short area, the short weapon grouping. One of the later skills you can get allows you to specifically target limbs instead of just it firing wherever. So I assume there's one in this game. I don't know what tree it's in. But there probably is one, but it's probably pretty late in the game. This when you fire in this, your bullets can hit any of the parts. You don't get to target a specific one. So if there is a skill that you can equip later on, probably is one, not 100% sure because they're usually late game, that will allow you to specifically target a specific part in order to help you win fights a lot more easily. It just takes forever to get there. There is also...
You struggled your ass off. Your reward is accuracy.
Yep. At a point in the game where you probably have weapons that are so good you can kill most things in a turn or two anyways. There is some differences between the first game and the second game. There's a battle arena that you can unlock in both of them. In the first game, you were able to actually level your skills and abilities and shit in there by fighting against things because you were still damaging them with whatever weapon, so you were still getting XP as well as a bunch of money. In this game, they decided, no, we're not going to let people level up because they could just sit there and level real early on. Yeah, the only XP you can get in this game is through the actual missions themselves. You do still get to make some money in the thing, so you can still buy new parts and overclock your computer for your machine and buy new parts and new weapons and stuff. So you still have that at least, but you can't level up through the arena anymore, which kind of blows donkey balls. But it is what it is. It's I don't think it's probably too bad until you're at the higher difficulties where that would be really fucking useful, because you don't have to pay to fix any of the damage when you do the arena unless you lose. Then you lose a little bit of money, not a lot, a little bit. Because I kept picking the hardest one that I had at the start. If I won, it would give me like 650 money. If I lost, it took away like 70. So I was like, I don't care if I lose a couple times. If I win once, I've made more money. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're gambling. And until you have the ability to choose what you attack, every last one of them is a gamble.
Yeah.
You do get to
you think Fire Emblem has got it bad with this? Oh crap! They credit me. Well, get ready for this.
Well, how about we get ready for a price discussion, because this clocks in at $34.99. There is a 2-pack available of the first and second game for $55.99. So you're getting two $35 games for $56. What do you think? Are the games worth $35 each?
I think buy it on a sell. This is going to be a hard sell for most people, I think. I don't know how many people are going to like this. If you really like old turn-based strategy games, this might be up your alley, especially if you really want to get in and crunch the numbers and look at all the information packets that people have put together online. If you're really into that stuff, you're going to really like this game. Otherwise, it's going to be really fucking hard to sell you on everything here is random and you don't know what you're going to get after each attack. So I think if you like that, totally worth it. If you aren't very into that, I think this is probably a pass. For the average individual, I think this is wait for a sale, personally. A heavy sale.
Sounds good. Pernell?
I'm in the same mindset. I'm of the type where I feel like I'm hoping and praying that they get around to doing the Front Mission 3 remake, but unfortunately, I have a hard time pushing this bad boy to the recommended pile. I'm giving it a low end to try it because it has merit in some of the strategizing, and I like the idea of the mech customization, even if the menus can piss me off a bit as far as like determining who's got what, reading the actual hit points of the enemies I'm attacking, yada yada yada. But it's just that damn RNG.
Yeah.
And that combined with some of the menu reading just makes me feel like I can't recommend this game to anybody but the most diehard mech heads or people who just want to experience classic Square brought to the forefront.
All right. Well, we got one final game to discuss tonight. That is called Timberdoku, developed by Bacord Games, published by Leoful, released April 25th on Switch for $7.99. It is on sale until the 16th, $3.99, so you got another week on that. Timberdoku is a classic block puzzle game featuring a variety of wooden block shapes. Place block pieces on the board and clear blocks by filling a line or square. Earn points by placing and clearing as many blocks as you can. The game ends once there's no space left. Pernell, what's Timberdoku?
Timberdoku is what you get when you combine Daedalian Opus, Tetris, and Sudoku into one game that you would not expect to really stick out to you. And yet here we are with this interesting little puzzler. The idea behind this is that you are on a board that has 9 9x9 squares. Sounds familiar? It should if you've played Sudoku, but it's in the title, so come on, you should know. And
so you mean 9
3x3
grids, not 9x9 grids, because that would be massive.
Maybe you unlock that later. And also, I'm really tired, but you are correct. There are 9 3x3 grids here.
Okay.
I got 9s on the brain is what it boils down to. But once you do that, what you have there is you have those. And unlike Sudoku, where you're slotting numbers into these, you're placing polyominoes into them. They are, I guess I can technically say tetrominoes because they have the same blocks count with a few exceptions as a tetramino. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5. No, it's always 5. So there we are. So I'm just going to say polyominoes, leave me alone. So you take those blocks and you slot them somewhere on the board as best you can if they fit. There is no rotating available though, so what you see is what you get, and you better hope you can put it into a spot. If you are able to either complete a 3x3 square or a row or a column, all of the blocks associated with that will disappear and you will get points. And generally, I stuck primarily with the adventure mode because I like adventure mode a lot. I think you probably already got your idea what the review is going to be. But there's a scoring system in play here for when you pull these things off, especially if you pull off a combo, which means you remove blocks with subsequent plays. So I place a block down, gets rid of a 3x3 square, place another block down, and immediately gets rid of a row, place another block down, gets rid of a column. You get combo points for that. And your goal in that capacity is just to last as long as you can if you're doing endless mode and scoring a lot of points in the process. But if you're playing adventure mode, i.e. the mode that I like the most, the game sets you up on a series of stages where they have a goal in mind for you to complete in order to win the level. Usually it's getting points as in getting a certain score before you run out of tile space. Other times it might be by removing gems of certain colors and a certain count before you run out of space. The gems count as their own separate blocks, so you don't have to put a block over top of them. You just have to consider them to be already placed blocks and break them in the same way you break other blocks. But if you pull those off, you'll beat the level and you move on to the next one. It's a pretty cool Zen-esque game. I like the idea of playing it. I like how it's simple yet effective. It's not complicated, but you will find yourself having situations where you go, damn, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I'm kind of stuck. How am I going to place these blocks? And then bam, eureka, I figured it out. Time to move on to the next level, which is pretty much what good puzzlers do. Also, like good puzzlers in this type of gameplay style, you might find yourself in a situation where you're going, man, I have a segment that has one square I can only fill in. I need a single block tile to come up, and those things are rare, super rare. You can get blocks that go up to like 5 spaces, or 4 or 5 spaces, but they can be 2, 3, or 4 also, just depending on, the luck of what the game gives you. And once they give you the shapes that are in question, you do not get to, again, swap any shapes out until you remove the ones that are in your pot. Basically, no food until you finish your sundae, as they say.
But the nerd part of me needs to wonder, if there's 5 blocks on the piece, is that a pentamino? And if there's only 3, is it a trimino?
Yeah, that's pretty much what they are, I believe. It's just, I think polyomino
because Tetra is 4.
Yeah, because Tetris, every block in Tetris, because in Tetris, every block is 4. In this game, it can be 1 to 5. It makes me wonder if they would be called pentamino. Like, I don't. My mind is wandering. Tell me more about Timberdoku. No, you weren't far off. That's why you say polyomino. Polyomino can be all of those. But tetraomino specifically refers to 4.
I like the song Polyamorous by Breaking Benjamin. That's a good one.
That is a fucking amazing song.
Polyamorous band.
How poly are you? I'm this poly. Hubba-doo-bop. But yeah, this game is
post-show music's going to be on Twitch.
You pretty much nailed this one down. Like, this is a good game, though. Like, it's simple yet effective. The reason why I was interested when you suggested to me is because it 100% reminded me of the Dalian Opus from the old Game Boy days. Except I'm not building a bridge in this game. I'm just, making blocks go bye-bye, like Animal from Muppet Babies would say. And I enjoyed my time with it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It ain't easy, but you'll enjoy trying to pull it off as you play, as levels get tougher. So,
cool. Well, it clocks in at $8. What do you think of that?
I'd give it a buy. I'm not going to say fuck it, why not in this case. I think it actually deserves its buy it status. It's fun. It's relaxing. It gets the job done. But just when you think you're done playing it, you'll probably have completed all the levels and be perfectly content with moving on.
Cool. Sounds good. All right, that is it for this show. Oh shit, I hit the wrong button. I'm starting to play music already.
Let's do the whole show over.
Yeah, fuck it. What's up, everybody? This is the SML. I forgot to record. Let's do this.
Yeah.
That's never happened before. I don't want to talk about that.
Wait, you forgot to record
we
the entire
lost
show?
Entire interviews.
I have lost an entire interview because I forgot to hit
Not
record.
Today. It was a joke.
Yeah, not today.
Oh, God,
before.
Damn, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Like, what
no,
do you mean?
See, we have the fallback now because we're streaming on Twitch. If I weren't streaming on Twitch, that's when things get dangerous because I don't have a fallback file. Yeah, but music this episode. Let's see. There is a new, where is it? Let me find the file quick. A new Legend of Zelda album from our friend Joshua Morse. It is a funk album. We were going to play something off of that. Does anyone have any final words to end the show?
I got nothing. I'm running on fumes right now. Just everybody have a good night. Stay new to your pets. I hope that you make the best of your lives and what they are. Cherish your parents if you got them and they're not shitholes. That's it. That's what I got.
Play more video games.
There we go.